Welcome back to Cryptolytics, giving a fresh take on crypto analytics. Today, we're going to look at the Mantle Layer 2 Scaling solution and look at some airdrop farming opportunities over there. So let's get into this one, shall we? Okay, so here we are on the mantle.xyz website. So this is your first place to go, essentially, to connect your wallet up and basically mint your NFT to begin the season alpha. So the first thing you'll do is you'll come in here, mint your Mantle Journey SBT. Then you want to connect your Twitter account, and then you can customize your profile. So each one of these steps will add more points to your journey. So come in here and have a look. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to get more miles. So the more miles you accumulate, the better chances you have for getting the airdrop, right? So in this case, as you can see, I've got 1030. You can see there's some things below. It shows you what you get. So for example, each one of these will earn you points. You can see there's 100 miles. We'll just call them miles, I suppose. 20 miles for doing this. So you can go through the basic stuff first. I'm going to leave a link in the description below with my invite code. So you can get onto there and you can have a look there. So we're going to come over here to MJ Miles overview, and you can come through and look at all the different ways you can get points. Essentially, you can just read all this stuff here. But the easiest thing to do, I think, is just use DeFi, right? Use the various DeFi systems within there. I've only bridged in like $200-300 US into the Mantle Network, but I think that's probably enough for doing the airdrop farming, especially since we can rotate the capital around and maximize our interactions, our DApp interactions, and just move things around, I guess, looping, you know, do that weekly airdrop farm loop process that I discussed in the last few airdrop videos that I've done. Now, you might be wondering what Mantle is, and Mantle is Bybit's Ethereum Layer 2 scaling solution for the most part. Well, it's not them specifically, but they're a key contributor to the development. So they've provided initial funding, strategic support, and leveraging their expertise and large user base to accelerate Mantle's adoption. So it's a little bit like what Binance Smart Chain is, I suppose, in that they have their own token, the MNT token, which is actually used for paying gas, which in my opinion is way better because I've noticed on Mantle, the gas is the cheapest out of any of the L2s that I've used so far during this airdrop farming. So just a little rundown here. Mantle Network is an L2 scaling solution built on top of the Ethereum blockchain. It is part of the new modular architecture narrative. So it uses optimistic rollups. It's EVM compatible. And one thing worth mentioning is Jordi Alexander is a prominent figure, and he is the head alchemist, as he's called himself. So he is the lead advisor, which is really good because he has a very strong reputation within the crypto space. And I think that having him behind it is pretty solid. I watched a video interview with him, and I think the perspective for Mantle is really pretty solid. The purpose of it is really more about the user experience and, you know, creating dApps that people really just want to use rather than really focusing on the technology, I suppose, and making that the main thing that they talk about, I suppose, when they're talking about Mantle. They more so want to talk about what you can do with it rather, which essentially in the future of DeFi is mainly what it will be. You might not even know what chain you're using on the back end. Things will be cross-chain and people will be more focused on the actual dApps rather than what is the underpinning technology that is used to facilitate the function of the dApp. So you can use Trusta Labs, which is what I showed in the last video, where you can go and basically check to see what kind of interactions you've had, how much volume you've had going through each of these protocols, etc. The difference is I think this is more accurate for Mantle than it is for Manta, because on Manta it was telling me I only put through a very small amount of volume in some of the protocols that it stated, but to be honest, I put through a lot more than what it stated. This seems to be a bit more accurate. So I've used all of these. Well, it hasn't actually accurately shown this because I have opened a few trades over on KTX and it's not really reflecting that I've done that. But you can see I've got 6 interactions. And remember, interactions are really what counts when it comes to airdrop farming and also volume as well, for sure. But we can loop volume, so that's not an issue. And that also creates more interactions. So apparently for interactions, I'm in the top 7. Volume, I'm in the top 2. Active, I'm in the top 17. And duration, 32. So because I only just started doing this about a week ago, I think. Let me just double check. Oh, 10 days ago. So there you go. That's how old this wallet is. Diversity, engagement, monetary, you know, you can see that these are the things you really want to sort of focus on. So you want to get volume through, and you want a diversity of dApps that you're interacting with. My preference for swaps for the DEX, out of all of the DEXs, would be Butter. And one of the reasons why I think Butter is the best is because you can actually get free MNT tokens by using it. So every time you do a swap, you get these points, right? So the points matter. I mean, you can see when you look at the rewards page, points matter, don't snooze. Some of these points, I mean, they're crazy. So you probably don't have to worry too much about trying to get into the top of the ranks, but at least get yourself interacting with the protocol so that you can accumulate more points. I've only got 63, and I think I've swapped a few times on here, 19 times according to Trusta. So one of the cool things you get when you swap is you get these phishing attempts. Now they've actually gamified this DEX. It's actually kind of fun. So if you click on the phishing attempts when you get them, and you'll get them pretty frequently, you get this little game that loads, and all it is you just connect the wallet, and all you do is you just click start phishing, and you'll either get rugged or you will get Mantle tokens. So let's see what happens. So far I've earned 2 MNT from doing this. I've got 12 phishing attempts, and you go through and do this, and you just click the button, and I got 2 MNT tokens, which is pretty cool. And it's automatically staked as well. So I'm going to go through and click the rest of these because I've just been looping around like $100 or so worth of MNT into USDT and back and forth again. So, and I got another 1 MNT. I haven't been rugged yet, which is a surprise. I kind of want to just get rugged so you can, there we go. So there you go, got rugged. Okay, so the rest were rugged, which is, you know, pretty lame, but whatever. At least I got some free stuff out of it. There's another one. I guess out of the 12, I got 2 and the rest were rugged. But anyway, so this is just where you go to claim that. And I remember I just did this from looping around anyway, so that's fine. Gas is super cheap, so swapping back and forth is not too much of an issue. For me, for Mantle, I am using the 1 hour super trend on the Heikin-Ashi candles. So when I get a sell signal, I sell my MNT into USDT. And when I'm looping, I prioritize the last token as USDT, and when I get a buy signal, then I loop around and keep the rest in Mantle. So I already sold a while ago on Jan the 3rd, and then I bought back this morning. So that was all right. That, you know, preserved about 10% worth of capital, which was pretty nice. So I've bought that back now. I bought that around here. So let's have a look at what the price was when I bought that back. So it's actually here. So because if you don't use Heikin-Ashi candles for the super trend, you get these fake outs all the time, and it's real pain. But anyway, that's just a small thing that I'm doing, but either way I'm still rotating and going around in the loop regardless. So now I've got my MNT as the priority, so I leave the rest in MNT. This is the Perp Dex that I prefer to use, and I think it's the only one at the moment. Now this is really good. I like this a lot. So this is ktx.finance. Again, all the links to what I'm using in this video will be in the description below. But KTX has take profit and stop loss as part of their orders, which is really nice. So let's have a look here. Looks like I threw it all into this ETH trade, which is long from, you know, down just a little bit below. I got a signal for that to open up yesterday. So, you know, you can see it's a very small position, like $400 deal, right? At 10x. So I only used 10% of the capital that I put down for it, so $40. And the rest I swapped into MNT. I'd have to sell a bit of that off to use it in here if I wanted to open a trade. But again, for me, the main thing for doing this is just an app interaction. So an app interaction, I'm putting volume through it, although it's not really detecting in here, I suppose. But nevertheless, I've opened a few trades in KTX. I think it's really good. As I said, one of the main reasons why I like it is you can put in an order in, say, for example, you go, I don't know, if you've got like say $50, you just can put in like 50, go for a 10x leverage, I suppose. Just, you know, if I'm doing ETH, maybe not for MNT because it's a bit too volatile, but let's just say 50 on ETH. That's where my entry was down there. So you can see that's gone up a bit since then. You've got take profit and stop loss. How good is that? So, you know, you have a look here. If we were going long from there, I could see, okay, I would probably end up stopping out around here anyway, 2150. And you can put your, so that's your take profit there. So that's for how much you would want to take profit. So you have take profit and stop loss, which is really cool. So you can put yourself a stop loss, and you can probably look at your liquidation price. So in this case, liquidation would be 2069. So that's well above 2069 at least. When I was opening that trade though, it was about here. So I think my liquidation is the same as 2069. So put it above your liquidation, that's for sure, or just put it somewhere where you would think that would be somewhere where I'd want to stop out. Let's fix that up. So it's USDT as the currency there. So yeah, so when you're working out your stop loss, it'll show you how much you'll make or lose. So 25%, that's $12 loss, and 100% 100% is $50 win. So that's pretty cool. Again, whatever you set up on this chart will just disappear later anyway. So I wouldn't worry about setting it up here permanently. I would set it up in TradingView and then do it from there essentially. So if there's a pump from the spot Bitcoin ETF, you know, I think that 25.37 could definitely happen. That's like around here. Cool. So that's the trade at the moment. Let me just double check, see if that's the right price. Okay, so my entry is 22.65, which is right there. Well, it says it down the bottom anyway. And stop loss is here, which you can see if you go to orders, you'll see your stop loss and take profit. So for me, the stop loss is 21.51. So let's have a look here. 21.51 is the stop loss for me. I could probably bring that up now, to be honest. And you just do that by coming in here and editing the values here. Yeah, so it might be one of these things where you have to just cancel the order and then recreate it. But anyway, it's just really nice. And so you go through here, set your take profit, set your stop loss, and then it says create complex order, and you just go through and approve the transaction and off you go. You're all good to go. They've also got pools and staking and stuff in here as well. So if you buy their KTC token, for example, you can stake it. I bought $12 worth. Yeah, whoop-de-doo. But it's just one of these things where I was just like, why not put some of their token in here? I just really like the experience on this exchange. So I was like, I'm going to buy a little bit of their token, which to be honest is like whatever. But I already got 58 cents from staking it, which is really cool. The APR is really high, 126.9%. So if you feel bullish on this exchange, which I kind of am, then maybe you could pick up a little bit of their token and stake it in here and earn a bit of rewards. And again, all this sort of stuff, it's another interaction, it's using their protocol, all that sort of stuff. So it's all positive at the end of the day, and it's all gonna help and build points towards your potential airdrop. Another swap platform is Agni Finance. Again, this is another just DEX, and you can provide liquidity in here, which you can see I did, but it went outside of my range because it's concentrated liquidity, and so I ended up closing it. But that's something that I put some money into, not a lot, but just a little bit. So another interaction, and you want to probably put some swaps through here as well, because it is one of the primary DEXs on the Mantle ecosystem. You can see I've got some MNT and USDY as well. So the USDY, that's where I actually put my USDT. So there you go. I will need to swap that if I want to trade even any more on KTX. And you might be wondering, what's USDY? So it's another real world asset yield bearing stablecoin. Again, another rebased token version of USDC. And the whole idea of this is it uses bond yield, very similar to the one on Manta, but this one is managed by Onda instead. And you can go and have a look and see how they work over on here. If you want to officially come into this, you actually have to sign in or sign up and all that sort of stuff, but you can just swap into USDY on a DEX anyway. So that doesn't really matter too much. You don't really need to sign up or sign in or anything like that. I wouldn't worry too much about doing that. But you can see the APY on stables is 5.1%, which is pretty nice on a stablecoin. And it's not too crazy, so it's something sustainable. And it's coming from T-bill yield anyway, right? So it's real world asset yield. It's not just coming from some Ponzi scheme. Well, I mean, arguably fiat currency is a Ponzi scheme, but anyway, we won't get into that. So if you want to get into this, then all you have to do is swap some of your stables. You can just use butter or something like that and get some more fishing attempts and some more points. So that's one way to go about it. We've got Fusion X, it's just another DEX. Again, you can either provide liquidity or just put some swaps through here. Again, you want diversity of protocol interaction. So be one of these things where you could basically just come through and check all of them to see who has the best price, since there is no aggregator yet. Maybe 1inch works. I haven't actually checked, but I doubt it. So you can come through and check all of the different DEXs and see who has the best prices for Mantle swapping into USDT. Remember, these are somewhat illiquid networks, so there is a chance you'll be able to arbitrage when you're doing your rotations. I did a shorts video on that, so you can check out my YouTube shorts if you want to watch how you can go through and arbitrage DEX swaps when you're going through and airdrop farming just for volume and interact. Izumi also has connection to Mantle, so you can connect to Izumi as well. Again, just another interaction. There's also a Mantle swap as well, so that's something that you can also swap through as well. And also Velocimeter is coming to Mantle as well. Like all the rest, you can use Orbiter Bridge to bridge from whatever you've got money on into Mantle. So you can just come down here and say if you're on the Mantle network and you want to bridge to Mantle, you can just go through and do it that way and accumulate more points in the process. One thing worth noting is that they have a yield bearing rebase token for Ethereum, or liquid stake derivative for Ethereum, called mETH. So I guess there's some meme potential on that one. And They've also got a money market coming called mETH Lab. So that's one that you should probably check out when that gets released, because that one, I remember Jordy mentioned it in a video interview and he said it's looking pretty good. So that's definitely one to check out. I think that will be primarily for the Mantle ecosystem. But in the meantime, if you want, there is also Lendle, and Lendle, you can also supply a basket of assets. So you can supply mETH in here. And there's also the mETH APY, which is 7.11%, which is actually really high for LSD. And you get an additional 3.14 APR paid into their token, and then you get 0.35% into mETH as well. So I've just put up a tiny little loop here. It's just negligible. About $11. I think it was $15 before, but the price for ETH dropped since. But thankfully the price for Mantle has also, so I think my health factor is okay. And I just put up that as collateral and then borrowed against it just to accumulate points, right? So a lot of these things, when they're counting points, a lot of the time borrows count for more than lending. So I just figured, why not put a small little loop in here? It's a very small amount of money, so it doesn't really matter too much. They also have a token as well called Lend, which has some pretty attractive yield on it, but since it is a reward token, there's a chance it might just get sold off. But it looks like it's actually doing okay. It did its classic sell-off, and then it's actually been pumping, so that's pretty cool. It's done 100% since November, so I guess that's not too bad. This one's a buy and hold for now. If you have a look, we just use the super trend, the old classic on the daily. It's a buy and hold since 8th of November. And so as long as it doesn't cross and close below the super trend, then it's probably fine. And it's just one of these things that if you see that it starts closing and creating or changing market structure into selling off, then that's probably where you would start to sell it, because these things can sort of enter the classic sort of death spirals, but probably not now, I wouldn't think, at this point in the market cycle. Everything's pretty fresh, and so I think it should be fine to hold onto it for now. And then if you do buy any, then stake it and you can earn more rewards that way. And again, it's another app interaction. So it all counts at the end of the day. Lastly, I just wanted to cover the NFT component. There was a free mint over here on element.market. Link in the description below. They had a free mint here. These are all sold out, max mint. I minted 2 of them personally, sold 1 and then bought 1 back. So the ones that I have are these 2, the Shadow and the Phoenix. Floor price has dropped a fair bit, admittedly. It was 1.5. Oh, it says here it's 1.19 is the floor price at the moment, so it's not too bad. These ones were a bit more generic though. There was only a few different types for this one. So you can see that there's like a repetition in the artwork. I think it's more just the concept of minting an NFT and having it as another app interaction. And it's something you might be rewarded with later. So I'm gonna hold on to my 2 that I've got until the bull market and see what happens, because we might enter some sort of NFT season. And if this chain does well, which it probably will, because Bybit is a very big exchange now, and it'll be easy for users that use that exchange to onboard. I feel like Mantle will get a fair bit of attention in the up and coming bull market and holds a pretty nice place, I would say, within the Ethereum L2 ecosystem. And just remember, everything you do, you get miles for. So it's definitely worth going through and interacting with all the different protocols so you can gather more points. The more miles you generate, the better off you'll be. So, and I think this one is well worth it. And if you just want to know roughly like where you're at, you know, I reckon this Trust Labs, Trust Go website is really nice for that. So you can just see how much volume you've roughly put through, how many different interactions you've had, all that sort of stuff. It's really nice to be able to keep track of all that stuff in here. So I think that's probably good for this. Just a little bit of extra alpha. I think there will be additional bonuses for those who hold the Mantle staked ETH. So if you wanted to bridge across a bit of ETH and just let it sit in here for its staking rewards, I think that's probably well worth it too, because if you will get rewarded for the airdrop for holding the Mantle ETH or mETH, then I think that's well worth holding some of your ETH in here for the airdrop. Remember that gas is in the MNT token, so you will actually need to hold the MNT token. Probably buy like 100 MNT or something like that, which is still pretty cheap. It's sitting at around 60 cents at the moment, so what's that, around $60 or something like that? So it's not too bad, and it won't really break the bank. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you want to show your support, then please use my referral link, which you'll find in the description below. And also please like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't, and subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this, and make sure you turn that bell notification on so you get notified when I release more videos. Airdrop farming season is definitely not over, so we're going to definitely get into more in the future. I think for now I'm pretty happy with airdrop farming ZK Sync, Manta, and Mantle, as well as the various protocols on the Solana ecosystem for the time being. But I'm going to be keeping my eyes open for maybe a few other L2s to farm, because you really never know what's really going to gain traction. I think Mantle definitely has a chance because you've got Geordie Alexander, you've got Bybit. I think that's kind of enough, to be honest, in of itself. You know, Mant is still looking really nice. And the fact of the matter is, with Mantle Airdrop, you didn't even need to go through the new paradigm. You can actually just stake your Celestia. So Celestia is one that I have been loading up on. It's done really well in the last few months, but bridging to the Cosmos ecosystem isn't the easiest task. So that's something that you should probably check out if you're really feeling up to it. There are definitely quite a few airdrop opportunities and high beta plays over in the Cosmos ecosystem. So that's definitely something you should check out if you have the time. So that's it for today's video. Keep safe out there. This is Cryptolytics signing out. Have a good one.